Ladies and gentlemen, friends of Israel. Both of our nations, Britain and Israel, share a parliamentary democracy where every citizen has the right of freedom of speech. I cannot speak on behalf of the British government, but I can speak to you tonight on behalf of Anglo Jewry, who have a real sense of sorrow and shame over our nation's betrayal of the Jewish people during the Mandate period. A few of the many Britons who carry this sense of shame and sorrow are here today, mostly Christians who are keen supporters of the State of Israel. In the past, a memorial was erected at Atlit to commemorate the 3,000 Jewish lives that were lost in the sea while trying to reach the shores of Israel during the Mandate period. This was a phenomenal tragedy, as according to the terms of the Palestine Mandate, they should have been allowed to come here freely rather than secretly, and then to be stopped by the British Navy. We're always heartened when we hear our government reiterate that Britain is a friend of Israel. However, it is very difficult for a friendship to have real meaning when there are historic issues that one side is not recognizing. For Britain and Israel, some of these issues are what we are remembering today. It is not generally known that the Balfour Declaration, which was adopted on the 31st of October 1917, was in fact the culmination of the visions and prayers of thousands of Christians over the previous 2 centuries or more. In Britain, many prominent Christians, leaders of the 18th and 19th centuries, believed from the Bible that one day the Jewish people would be restored to their promised land in Israel. They included, for example, William Wilberforce, Lord Shaftesbury, Charles Spurgeon, and many, many other Christian leaders. 7 out of the 10 men in the British War Cabinet during the First World War who wrote the Balfour Declaration were from evangelical Christian backgrounds. And another, Sir Alfred Mond, later become Lord Melchett, was a Jew, a founding father of Israel, and I'm proud to say my great-grandfather. One of those men in the War Cabinet, the South African General, Ian Christian Smuts, was later one of the original founders of the League of Nations. Smuts described the Balfour Declaration as a debt of honour which must be discharged at all costs and in all circumstances. One of the great British Prime Ministers of the 19th century was William Gladstone, who once stated, "What is morally wrong cannot be politically right." With this in mind, I want to briefly look at the British Government White Paper of 39. The Permanent Mandates Commission of the League of Nations condemned it as a breach of the mandate. This is simply not a political issue, but it's a moral one as well. That is the way that Winston Churchill saw it during the debate in the British Parliament in May 1939. He attacked this white paper. Thus, after the period of 5 years, Winston Churchill said, there will be no further Jewish immigration unless the Arabs of Palestine acquiesce to it. Now, there is the breach. There is the violation of the pledge. There is the abandonment of the Balfour Declaration. There is the end of the vision, end of the hope, end of the dream. That's what Winston Churchill said. It was as a result of this white paper that a quota was created which limited the amount of Holocaust survivors who could settle in Israel. Indeed, these very survivors were put into Atlit here and incarcerated in this detention camp with similarities to German concentration camps such as the Sharums. From a political standpoint, it's absolutely true to say that if it wasn't for the British mandate, there would be no state of Israel today. However, the eventual rebirth of the Jewish state happened in spite of Britain rather than because of it. Because of the White Paper of 39, which was the abrogation of the mandate, we in Britain have innocent blood, innocent Jewish blood, on our hands. This is a moral issue, not just a political one. The British government policy of trying to prevent the Jewish people from defending themselves properly is a moral issue. As I previously mentioned, the Jewish state was reborn in spite of Britain rather than because of her. Today, there are thousands of Jewish people in Israel who have a genuine grievance with Britain over the betrayal of the Jewish people and the mandate. As a British citizen, and on behalf of Anglo Jewry and many other Britons, including many Christians, I want to say sorry to you all. We collectively apologise to you. Finally, I want to say something to the British government. We are grateful to hear that you regard Israel as a friend of Britain. I want to suggest to you that the friendship between our two nations can never truly flourish while the issue of Britain's stewardship of the mandate remains unaddressed and a moral cloud hangs over our nation. I believe that our government needs to face up to our failure to stand by the mandate rather than pretend we never violated it.
Yes.
Again, this is not simply a political issue but a moral one. I believe that at the very least our government needs to make a formal apology to the nation of Israel for the handling of the mandate and the wholesale suffering it caused to many thousands of Jewish people. Dealing with the past honestly and openly and taking action where necessary will serve the well-being of both our nations. In a little over 2 years' time, in late 2017, two key historical events will be commemorated. The vote taken by the British War Cabinet accepting the Zionist proposal for a Jewish national home in Palestine, and on the same day the capture of Beersheba by a combined British, Australian and New Zealand force. A victory which ultimately led to the capture of Israel from the Turks, which in turn permitted that promise of the British government to come into effect. So may I suggest that the British government take this God-given opportunity provided by these commemorative events in 1917 to publicly repent to Israel, and like many of us supporters of Israel, rejoice in these two historical changing events of history, and open up a new and exciting chapter in the relationship, even, dare I say it, the destiny of our two nations. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, thank you for your attention.